Namaste everyone, I'm your co-host Shawnee ma'am. Welcome to your favorite learning channel. The topic for today's video is pollution and its effects. So first let's understand what is pollution. So how can we define pollution? Have you ever thought of it? So pollution is the introduction of harmful substances. So what is it? It is the introduction of harmful substances, and these harmful substances are being introduced into the environment. Okay, and this further leads to, or it can cause, okay, and it can cause disastrous disastrous effects on the it causes disastrous effects on the environment. Okay, on the environment, including the living organisms, including the living organisms. Okay, so this is pollution. Now there are substances which cause pollution, and these are called substances causing or that cause pollution. What are these substances known as? These substances are known as the pollutants. Okay, so pollutants are those substances that are responsible for causing pollution. Now this pollution are of four types. There are four types of pollution. And what are these four types of pollution? The first one is air pollution. Air pollution. Then there is water pollution. Water pollution. Then there is soil pollution. Soil pollution. And the fourth type is the noise pollution. Noise pollution. So these are the four types of pollution. Now let's one by one understand each type of pollution. First we'll start with the air pollution. Okay. So now what is air pollution? The harmful gases, there are several harmful gases from factories, then industries, vehicles, burning of fuels, and so on, or we can say etc. So harmful gases from these different sources are released. They are released where? They are released into the atmosphere, and this leads to air pollution. This causes air pollution when harmful gases from factories, industries, vehicles, burning of fuels, etc. are released into the atmosphere. These can cause air pollution. Now, breathing this polluted air can cause several respiratory diseases as well as allergies. Okay. Now, in urban areas, what happens is urban areas produce large amount of emissions. Correct. So urban areas, they produce large amount of emissions. Okay, so large amount of emissions are produced in urban areas that are the byproducts of combustion of, and these emissions are what? They are byproducts. They are byproducts of combustion, and the combustion could be of oil, coal, and fuel contaminants such as mercury. So, when these byproducts, so what happens when these byproducts, that is byproducts of combustion, are exposed, when these are exposed to what? They are exposed to sunlight, and we can say they are exposed to sunlight, or they are exposed to high temperature. Then what happens? So high temperature and sunlight, when these byproducts are exposed, then they react with oxygen. They react with oxygen, and upon their reaction with oxygen, there is formation of smog, and this smog is actually harmful. Also, in individuals who are allergic, exposure to smog can lead to several illness. Okay, so this is about air pollution. Now we will move on and understand what is water pollution. Okay, so we will be talking about water pollution now. So the release of industrial, or we can say release of industrial and domestic waste, into, where we are talking about water pollution, so these must be released into water sources. What do? They make the water they make the water impure. The water becomes impure, and it becomes unfit for usage. Okay, so this is called water pollution. So wastes are dumped nearby the water sources like ponds, rivers, lakes, etc., without any treatment. So wastes which are not treated are dumped or are released near the water sources. Now it will be really hazardous for human health if this polluted water is going to be used for domestic and drinking purposes, right? And also washing and bathing in water bodies can also pollute the water. So all these things result in water pollution. Okay, and using of such untreated water or polluted water can cause several diseases and can have harmful effects on humans and other animals as well. Okay, then we will be talking about soil pollution. How is soil pollution caused? Here, the untreated or wastes were dumped into the water sources. Now, in case of soil pollution, there is dumping of either biodegradable. What are biodegradable materials or substances? Those substances that can decay in soil gradually. And there are also non biodegradable substances. What are non biodegradable substances? Those substances that cannot undergo decay in soil. So the dumping of biodegradable and non biodegradable as well as garbage, as well as garbage on land can cause, this causes soil pollution. Okay, so too much of accumulated waste can originate. What happens when we have dumped everything on land? You must have seen they become breeding places for flies, mosquitoes, etc. And this in turn will lead to the spreading of several diseases, right? So decaying waste causes foul smell. Also, decaying wastes, it causes what? It leads to foul smell and makes the area unfit for plant, animal, and for human beings. Okay, and apart from this, they also form breeding grounds for, or breeding places for flies, mosquitoes, etc., that would in turn spread several diseases. Okay, so this was about soil pollution. Now let's move to noise pollution. Okay, so this noise pollution, the concept of this pollution is not limited to environmental sources or environmental resources only. Even certain sounds that we hear can be called pollutants. Okay, for example, sound of loudspeaker at night time, it actually hampers our sleep and it might also cause headaches and disturbance. So these sounds we can consider as the polluting sounds, and this we can call as noise pollution. So how would we define noise pollution? So noise pollution refers to any unpleasant, it refers, that is, noise pollution refers to any unpleasant, any unpleasant noise that may be, harsh and loud. These sounds may be harsh and loud and could cause disturbance, and this could cause disturbance. Okay, so this is how we can define noise pollution. Okay, so high levels of noise can even lead to permanent hearing loss. What happens? High levels of noise can lead to permanent, it can cause permanent hearing loss. That is, the ability to hear can be permanently lost and can cause serious hazards, and this can cause serious hazards on the ears. Okay, so this is about noise pollution. So now let's quickly revise everything that we have talked about today. So today we have covered pollution and the different types of pollution we have discussed. So what is pollution? Pollution is the introduction of harmful substances into the environment, and these harmful substances can cause disastrous effects on the environment, including the living organisms. Now the substances that cause pollution are called pollutants, and there are four types of pollution. One is air pollution, water pollution, then soil pollution, and noise pollution. First we have talked about the air pollution. So what is air pollution? The harmful gases from factories, industries, vehicles, burning of fuels, etc., are released into the atmosphere, and this causes air pollution. Then we talked about smog, right? And these we also know that when we breathe such polluted air, this can lead to various respiratory diseases and allergies. Then, how is smog formed? So, urban areas produce large amounts of emissions that we know due to the vehicular emissions, the burning of fuels. Due to all these things, large amount of emissions are produced by or are produced in urban areas, and these emissions are the byproducts of combustion of what? Combustion of oil, coal, fuel contaminants such as mercury. Okay, so now when these byproducts are exposed to sunlight or high temperature, they can react with oxygen, and upon the reaction with oxygen they form smog. Okay, this is due to air pollution, and individuals who are allergic, those individuals who are allergic, the exposure to smog can lead to several illnesses. Okay, so smog is formed when the byproducts of combustion are exposed to sunlight or high temperature, they react with oxygen, and the smog is caused. Okay, then we talked about water pollution. So when there is release of industrial or domestic waste into water bodies or water sources, they make water impure and unfit for usage. This is called water pollution. So wastes are dumped nearby the water sources like ponds, rivers, lakes, etc., and these wastes are not treated. And also washing and bathing in water bodies can also pollute water. So it will be really hazardous for human health if this polluted water is going to be used for domestic or drinking purposes. Here we can see dumping of waste into the water bodies, and this is causing water pollution. Okay, then we talked about soil pollution. So what happens in soil pollution? Here also there is the wastes are being dumped, but in water pollution the wastes were being released or dumped in water, but in soil pollution these are being dumped on land. So dumping of either biodegradable, that is those substances that can undergo decay or they can be decayed in soil gradually, and also non biodegradable substances that which cannot decay in soil. And along with biodegradable and non biodegradable substances, garbage is also dumped on land, and all these things can cause soil pollution. Okay, now what happens? We have all seen that these grounds where wastes are dumped, they form the breeding places of flies, mosquitoes, etc., which will in turn spread several diseases. And also, the decaying of waste causes foul smell and makes the area unfit for plants, animals, and for human beings. Okay, so here we can see all the garbage, biodegradable and non biodegradable, are dumped on a piece of land, and this is leading to soil pollution. Then we talked about the noise pollution. So the concept of this pollution is not limited to environmental resources only, and even certain sounds that we hear can be called pollutants. For example, the sound of loudspeaker at night hampers our sleep, right? And it might also cause headaches as well as disturbance. So how would we define noise pollution? It refers to any unpleasant noise that may be harsh and loud and cause disturbance. So this refers to noise pollution, and the high levels of noise can cause permanent hearing loss in people and also can lead to serious hazards on the ears. Okay, so I hope you all would have got some great insights by watching today's video. Please do not forget to like and share the video. Till then, thank you for watching.